classical music history. Throughout history, composers have changed how we understand music. Today, we'll explore 10 composers who shaped the sound of the world. But first, what does it mean to be a composer? To be a composer means to be a person who writes or creates original music, which can range from a symphonic work to a pop song. Composers often combine a talent for musical creation with skills like music theory and arrangement. Classical music didn't appear all at once, it evolved over hundreds of years, each era reflecting the world around it. First come the Baroque Era, a time of grandeur and detail. Then came the Classical Era, where balance, clarity, and reason ruled. The Romantic Era was all about passion. As the 19th century ended, composers began breaking away from strict rules, which brought the Impressionist era. Beyond the classic eras, music kept evolving into jazz, film scores, and modern experimentation. Seeing these new shifts from the modern era into the contemporary era that we have today. Let's take a look at composers in the classical eras, where our story begins in the Baroque era, where music was full of movement and decoration, just like the art and architecture of the time. Our journey begins in Venice, Italy, with Antonio Vivaldi, a red-haired priest nicknamed the Red Priest. Vivaldi's music shimmered with energy and rhythm. His most famous work, The Four Seasons, paints musical pictures of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, all through sound alone. He helped shape the concerto, a form where one instrument stands out from the orchestra. Around the same time in Germany, Johann Sebastian Bach was composing music that changed everything. His work was precise, mathematical, and deeply spiritual. Every note fit like a puzzle piece. Pieces like the Well-Tempered Clavier and Brandenburg concertos taught generations how harmony and structure could build emotion. Bach's legacy is so strong that he's often called the father of music. Meanwhile, in London, George Frederick Handel brought grandeur to the stage. His Messiah oratorio and water music were performed for kings and still echo in concert halls today. Handel mastered the art of music that was both sacred and spectacular. By the mid-1700s, music began to focus on clarity and balance, which brought in the classical era. Starting off the classical era, we have Franz Joseph Haydn, born in 1732 in the Austrian countryside in a village called Rohrau. He was known as the father of the symphony and established the forms that composers still use today. He loved musical jokes like the sudden loud chord in his surprise symphony meant to wake up sleepy audiences. One of Haydn's star students was named Wolfgang Mozart. Mozart was born in 1756 and was a once-in-a-lifetime genius. Writing over 600 works before his death at just 35, he shaped opera, symphony, and chamber music into art forms of elegance and emotion. His music, from the Magic Flute to Requiem, glows with melody and humanity. Mozart made the complex sound effortless. Then came Beethoven, born in 1770 in Bonn, Germany. He was the rebel who bridged classical and romantic music. He pushed beyond formality to express raw feeling. Even as he lost his hearing, Beethoven composed symphonies that thundered with courage, like Ode to Joy. His work showed that music could speak the language of emotion, not just beauty. With the shift between the classical era to the Romantic era, music became emotional, personal, and nationalistic, telling stories through sound. As the Romantic era bloomed, Franz Schubert, who was born 1797 in Vienna, poured his entire heart into creating songs. He wrote over 600 vocal pieces, transforming poetry into music that told stories. His gentle melodies in the Trout Quintet and Ave Maria capture the soul of everyday life. Across Europe, Frédéric Chopin, born in 1810, was dramatically redefining the piano. His nocturnes and waltzes turned piano music into poetry intimate, emotional, and deeply human. Chopin rarely played large concerts, Instead, he preferred small gatherings, where each note felt like a confession and connected with the audience. In Russia, Tchaikovsky gave the world music that danced literally. The Nutcracker, Swan Lake, and Sleeping Beauty are still performed every year. His music is full of passion, longing, and story, echoing the romantic belief that emotion was the truest form of art. As the 1800s ended, the Impressionist era of music painted sound pictures. This style focused on evoking mood, atmosphere, and sensory experiences, rather than following the traditional forms. One of the most famous composers of this movement was Claude Debussy, born in 1862 in Saint-Germain-en-Laye, France. Debussy looked at music in a new way. He rejected the strict form and used sound like paint, creating dreamy, impressionistic colors instead of sharp lines. Clair de Lune feels more like moonlight than melody soft, flowing, and mysterious. Debussy opened the door to modern music, where imagination mattered more than rules. From Vivaldi's vibrant strings to Debussy's moonlit melodies, these composers shaped centuries of sound. Their music mirrors human history from faith and order to freedom and emotion. Which composer's story or sound connects most with you? Because the great truth of music is this: even across hundreds of years, it still speaks to us today. Thanks for watching today's video. Check out these interactive notes that go along with the video, perfect to engage your students. Subscribe for more music history lessons and other lessons.